Hi. Well, this is a conversation about making change. I'm Rachel O'Leary, and I'm lucky enough to talk to Maddie McMahon today. And the idea is to find out from the people who are making changes how to do it. Because we know we've got to change everything as soon as we can. We've got to start with life and love and compassion at the core of everything and rebuild so that all our systems support life and love and children and babies and mothers. And that's exactly what Maddie's been doing over the last few years. So, Maddie, would you like to tell us about developing doulas?
Hello, Rachel. Thank you for inviting me. It feels like a big honour. Yes, hello, I'm Maddie. I run a business called Developing Doulas, which is a doula training organisation, which sounds quite prosaic because really, actually, it's a community that welcomes women. We haven't ever trained any men, but we are an open, inclusive organisation. So women and people who would like to be doulas, and what that means are people who really value the beginning of life. They understand how vital it is to get life right from the beginning, so that babies are securely attached to their primary caregivers. And in that way, we slowly begin to change the world one family at a time. So I think doulas have a vital role to play, providing the psychosocial support that new families desperately need and haven't been getting probably since the Industrial Revolution. We're trying to bring back what should naturally occur with Homo sapiens around that really precious, vulnerable, fragile time when a new person is coming into the family and into the wider community, and making those links again where parents feel valued by their communities. So Developing Doulas runs a course where we sort of help people explore that role and how they might go about making themselves available to their communities. And we run an ongoing family of doulas where they can get support for as long as they need or want it, in person or online, and a formal mentoring and acknowledgement certification system for them.
So it's turned into a whole community
Mm.
of people who are all helping their own communities all over Britain,
Yeah, all over the world.
all over the
Since,
world.
since the beginning of COVID, when we launched the online version of our course,
Mm,
that means that, yeah, you can come and do Developing Doulas from anywhere in the world.
fantastic. So where did the idea come from for developing doulas?
Mm. Well, it was kind of that story has kind of got two halves to it, really, because before becoming a doula, I'd been a teacher and I really loved many aspects of teaching. And so it was always in my heart and mind that I might like to do some kind of teaching. I didn't know how I was going to begin to incorporate that into my doula work. I was thinking maybe setting up antenatal education groups or something like that. And then my mentor, an amazing woman called Linda Quinn, she said she would like to run a doula course for a couple of years before she retired. and that she would like to do it with me. And I was stunned and honoured. But actually, our skill sets were really complementary at the time. She was in her 60s at the time, and had been around birthing people since the age of 16. So the wealth, the depth of her knowledge and wisdom is off the scale. And I had the skills of being able to actually hold space in a group, understand group dynamics, and be able to design a curriculum and write a course and write the activities and understand, how to pace those activities with, and put variety into that group's day so that they could feel engaged and energized all the way through the 5 days. So together, we created this course, and it was we ran the first course in January 2008. We put it out to the community, via places like NCT, saying we've got this free course, come and be our guinea pigs. And so we got 12 amazing women, many of whom were already antenatal teachers, came to Linda's house, and Doula UK came to observe that course, and we were approved as a Doula UK course, and have been ever since. So Linda co-taught with me for a couple of years, and then she retired. Then, I was chucked out of the nest onto my own, and I started teaching in Cambridge, and then slowly began to invite other people in who I, had been watching and thinking, I bet you would be really good at teaching. And so, now we have a gorgeous little group of facilitators who are able to offer courses around the country and online.
And I see them supporting each other as well.
Yeah. I think for me, I feel like that's one of the achievements that I'm proudest of, is being able to somehow gather people together. It's very organic the way it happens, and it's definitely heart work for me rather than head work. I'm not interviewing people and using tick boxes to work out whether they would be good or not. I just get to know them, and my heart and my gut kind of just guides me. And actually, I haven't been wrong yet. Everybody has turned out to be absolutely lovely, and we work together as a team with such mutual respect, love, laughs, and most importantly, the knowledge that we're safe in a space together where we can disagree, and we can work it through, and that we can all regulate our emotions enough. That there's that emotional maturity which I think I'm looking for in people, where we can absolutely go, okay, right, so I'm slightly triggered by this, or I'm feeling upset that I haven't been heard, or I don't agree with this decision, but I can say that out loud. And we all know each other enough to know what our personality types are, and we know that some people need to talk their thoughts out in real time, and we just have to back off and let that happen, and eventually they'll talk themselves into a state of self-regulation. Other people need to go away and think about it and come back with a fully formed response. We understand each other, and so I think that's one reason why it works so seamlessly.
Sounds brilliant.
Mm.
Yeah. Before we started all this, did you have to make changes inside yourself to be able to do it?
No, I think that one of the reasons that I became a doula is because something about me always hated old-fashioned hierarchical systems. I
Yeah.
always felt this rebellion against the fact that, yes, I have always had huge amounts to learn in jobs, but I also had stuff to offer.
Uh-huh.
And because I was a young woman, that gift I could have given was never mind, because they didn't know it was there. They never gave me the space or the opportunity. They never made me feel like I could pipe up and contribute. To that whole kind of like, I'm the bottom of the rung, here's my line manager, there's their boss,
Yeah.
there's the CEO, probably a man. That stuff always never sat well with me. And so becoming self-employed was a natural
Mm.
progression for me, because I was never a very good employee. I often felt frustrated and silenced, and so I think probably it was always inside me to try to um, create a team that is flat.
Right. So you just had to unleash your inner rebel.
Yeah.
Ah, oh, that's very cool. So when you were starting up with developing doulas, who helped you? And how did you get that help? Did you have to ask for it, or did people just kind of come along?
Oh, it brings a little tear to my eye, because it makes me remember the amazing Bridget Baker,
Oh,
who at the time was chair of Doula UK and a very, very experienced teacher.
oh,
And her generosity of spirit when I was writing the course was just so lovely. She read drafts for me. She helped me put shape to things and make suggestions. Maybe that activity could go on that day rather than that day. You know, she helped me really see the big picture. She always had time for me. And she always made me feel like she believed in me.
how lovely.
And that, yeah, it was really precious and valuable. I mean, how old was I? Not very old, 30, 33. You know, that feels like a very young girl to me now. Um, and yeah, you know, to have an older woman give me that kind of mentorship
Mm.
without asking, you know, just freely given with such generosity. It really made an impression on me, because that had never happened to me before.
Ah, uh-huh.
Um, and it was really something that she modelled, something that I have tried to pay
Right.
forward.
So were you friends before all this started? Or?
I kind of knew her because I'd done a little bit of volunteering
Mm.
for Doula UK, and she had kind of, you know, spotted me as somebody who might be a mentor.
Mhm.
So yeah, she kind of brought me in, and you know, again, somebody sort of saying, you know, I felt like I'd only been a doula for 5 minutes, but you know, actually it was, you know, 4 or 5 years by then.
Sure, yeah.
And she, you know, she saw something in me that, you know, that I hadn't identified in myself, and that's always an enormous gift, isn't it? Because
Mm.
it helps you with your own self-esteem and
Sounds
helps.
like she kind of played the role of a mother almost,
Yeah,
the kind of mother we all hope for and wish for, the one who holds us and sets us forth in the world on a sure and steady footing.
that's right, absolutely. And that, you know, that it really is the doula role. We mother the mothers. So she was really modelling that to me.
Mm.
and really helped me understand that actually being a doula isn't just about supporting the families, our clients. It's a way of life. It's a way of being. It's who we are, not just what we do.
Can you see my Marioshka dolls just there?
Yeah,
Making me think of them.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's just like that. It's
Yeah.
holding and holding and holding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Who tried to stop you when you were starting up developing doulas?
I don't think anybody tried to stop me.
Mm,
I mean, there's always when there's a new project, there's always the self-doubt that creeps in. And we've always been a family where both of us have had to work financially. That has been a given. And so it was already a big leap for me to go self-employed. And when I first started writing the course, I was still working other jobs.
I see.
It
Mm,
took a long time to be able to afford
mm,
to be a full-time doula. So taking time out from the family and from my other work and from my doula clients to sit and write, that was a big leap of faith. And of course, there was doubt in me, there was doubt in my husband. Is this going to be financially worthwhile?
mm.
So yeah, it was a gamble. It was definitely a gamble. But I don't think anybody actively tried to stop me. I'm lucky that way with my family. They just kind of let me get on with things.
Was anybody sitting on your knee at the time? Oh,
Yeah, I had a daughter who was still nursing at the time. Um, she would have been 4. So yes, I did used to kind of put a plastic step next to my computer chair
mhm.
and get my boob out and type over
Fantastic.
her head.
Fantastic.
I
I
do
don't think that
remember.
counts as trying to stop you, though, just
No, no.
making sure she got what she needed at the same time. Mm.
Yeah, well, a good example of how, we kind of do mothering alongside all the other tasks that life requires of us, don't we?
Yeah, wonderful. So you seem to have developed a lot of group leading skills. And how did you do that? Did you do it on the job or beforehand? Or...
I really don't know. I think I think everything about my life up until becoming a doula, and then in particular working as a doula, developed my empathy skills.
Ah,
And maybe I'm just a natural empath
mhm,
anyway. So I've always felt other people's feelings very keenly.
mm,
So maybe that's helpful, like even online when people are typing, I can often feel like I can intuit their emotions
wow.
behind those words
Yeah.
in a way that maybe sometimes others aren't. I can see other people being triggered by them or coming back and going, well, I think that's terribly rude. And, like I'm often the one who kind of can go in and go, oh, I can see both sides of
Mhm,
this, that kind of thing.
mm.
And I suppose a big part of a big step in the journey was doing my breastfeeding counselling
Ah,
training as
okay.
well, which was happening around the same time as becoming a doula.
I see.
So the two things were really knitting together beautifully. The
Mm.
skills that I was learning in both roles helped me in the other.
Brilliant.
Um, and I
Yeah.
suppose if you're really learning and practicing those person-centered counselling skills on a daily basis,
Yeah.
it just kind of helps you talk to people in a way that it diffuses tension and conflict, helps them find their own answers, feel validated and heard. And those are all great skills, aren't they, for holding space for individuals and for groups.
So you're really listening to somebody and hearing the feelings behind what's being said, what's being typed even, and feeling your way into that so that you're um, then coming back to them with yeah, empathy is the word, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And I think if you're running a group or a community, then I think it's really important that people feel like they're stakeholders as well, and they're,
Uh-huh,
they're stakeholders with power.
right.
Again, coming back to non-hierarchical
Yeah.
systems. Just because this is a business and I run the business doesn't mean that I make all the decisions in isolation.
Hmm.
This is something I've always been the kind of person who wants to go to community and say, does anyone have any opinions about this? What do you think would be best for our community? And to give people the opportunity to have their say.
Do you teach um, those particular skills to people in the group or with perhaps with the doulas that you're developing? How do you teach them to do that?
It's an integral part of the doula course. It's,
Uh-huh.
the first 2 days of the course are very much taken up with listening and speaking skills.
Sounds
Um,
like everybody should do this course.
well, the feedback that we get so much is people coming back and saying, that part of the course, it hasn't just helped me be a
Mm.
doula, it's helped me in every aspect of my life. And I'm sure that you hear that from La Leche leaders as well. It helps us in our relationships with our partners, our children, our wider family, all day, every day. Those skills are just a treasure trove, aren't they?
Yes, so breastfeeding counsellors usually come out of whatever training or development they do, saying that, "Ah, I wish I'd known all that
That's
20 years
right.
ago," or whatever.
No, it's not rocket science. It takes a
Yeah,
day or two to teach. We could be doing that in schools. We could be teaching children
yeah.
these skills.
I can remember looking at a book as a breastfeeding counsellor where it outlined some of this and going, oh, oh, why didn't anybody tell
I
me?
know, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I used to remember realizing, oh my God, I'm a fixer.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, I've got to rein that back.
Right.
Right? I'm not going to jump in with the answer, even if I'm absolutely convinced I know it. I know what you should do.
Yes.
That was my natural propensity. I thought it was being kind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
we will
sometimes
all,
it is,
yeah, well, yeah,
there's other
maybe
stuff that
maybe
needs to
not the
happen
way
as
we
well.
should.
Yeah.
But we'll all identify the thing that is the barrier to us being a really effective listener.
Mm.
And it will be different for everybody.
Hey-ho. Well, you've talked a bit about training people to be teachers or leaders. What do you call them in your um, trainers? Is it
Facilitators.
facilitators? Even
Mm.
better. And you talked about sort of knowing intuitively who's going to be a good fit and so forth. Is there anything you could say about who, what qualities you're looking for?
I think already they'll have gathered other people around them.
Ah,
They will be a hub in their community.
mhm.
People will look to them for guidance,
Ah,
and know that they will be generous with their time and support.
right.
So that's definitely there's something that I think I have always looked for, and I think also just a naturalness, being able to just talk and listen and hold space. The specific teaching skills, like being able to keep time and move from one activity to another and give good, clear instructions and check understanding of those instructions, those can all be taught.
Right.
But the heart that someone has to have, the passion,
Hmm.
and the experience, so that
Uh-huh.
when someone says, yes, but what if la 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 happens, to be able to say, well, sometimes this, and sometimes this, and some doulas would like to do it like that, and other doulas would probably do that, but you may want to get some support in that kind, and just to be able, from their own experience, to be able to give a good answer. And also the humbleness to be able to say, you know what, I don't know the answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to see what I can find out. What do you think? What does everybody else think? And throw it back to the group.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that just comes naturally because of your personality type, I think.
Sounds like a very feminine skill too. Or it's the qualities that we normally think of as feminine rather than the
Yeah.
go-getting sort of uh, aggressive skills that we link with
Mm-hmm.
men and masculinity.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's so often a kind of a teaching that would be considered traditionally masculine, which is very much, I'm up here on my lectern and I'm going to preach, and you're going to sit in silence and listen and swallow my wisdom.
Yes.
That's like very ego driven.
Yes.
And then a more feminine way of doing things, where actually we're all going to learn from each other. We all have skills and wisdom and stories to share, and you're all going to be given space to share those stories. And I think that's really important to me. I mean, the doula training I did, I don't regret for a minute. It was absolutely amazing. I was taught by the great Michel Audin, French obstetrician.
Uh,
It was amazing, but it was sitting at the great man's feet for 3 days, listening and not contributing. There wasn't any opportunity for us to speak or share our stories or our motivations for becoming doulas. And I really wanted to change that in the training that
uh,
I offer, because it's by sharing our stories that we learn and grow from each other, don't we?
Brilliant. And how how does your organization grow? How do you grow it? Say organization, you know what I mean.
Well, it has to be organic. It can't be too fast,
Right.
and it has to adapt. Has to adapt to the marketplace and to what's going on in the wider world. But certainly I've tried to have facilitators in different areas of the country
Right.
so that we can make it geographically easy for people to get to a course. So that's sort of one area of growth, is that, ideally we can get to a place where we can say, okay, well, we haven't got a facilitator in Scotland, and we can go abroad as well. And as our community has grown, opportunities to have facilitators in other countries are presenting themselves. So we may well be able to grow that way. And then, what they say in business, upselling, we're maintaining a community. So that means that people can come back and do other courses with us and workshops and things like that. But it's not, obviously, yes, as we have more facilitators, that contributes to the potential for growth and profit margin. But also, I have always felt really passionately that facilitators need to earn decent money.
Mm.
And when I set up the course, it was common for facilitators to be paid a one-off fee for running a course. That always seemed very small to me, like £100 a day. And right from the beginning, I shared the income much more equally than that. So online facilitators earn 50% of the fee of each participant. And if they're teaching face-to-face and therefore have more overheads, like having to pay for a venue and buy food and tea and coffee and stuff like that, they get 60%. So, that means that the business isn't as profitable as it could be. And if some kind of business analyst consultant man came in, he'd probably tell me that I'm absolutely idiotic. But for me, the feeling of sharing
Yeah.
and building a family where we're all in it together, and it's a feminist act. It's about sharing the abundance with my sisters in an equal way, rather than being some sort of money grabbing business owner.
So you've built in egalitarianism
Yeah,
from the beginning, really, sounds
yeah,
like. Yeah.
yeah. It's my socialist leanings, Rachel.
And can I ask about the structure of developing doulas, legal and financial aspects? Just a little bit. Oh, you were talking about that already, weren't you? So
Yeah.
um, you call it a business, but it sounds like very much a sort of shared business almost.
Well, for like after Linda retired, then she just gifted the whole business to me. So for a long time, I was sole trader until 2 years ago, when I began the slow process of retiring myself.
Uh-huh.
And I was extremely lucky and honoured to have a few of the facilitators come and say that they would like to buy
Mm.
shares in the business. So
Mm.
that means that now we are a limited company, and
Uh-huh.
I have co-directors,
Right.
and that feels lovely. It's a beautiful way of me still being part of the business, still having that share, not just in the income, but in the direction and everyday workings of the business. But yeah, slowly handing over day-to-day running
Right.
to these beautiful people who
Who
want
you
to ensure that Developing Doulas carries on in the same spirit when I'm not here anymore.
and who you have trained and um, changed their lives in the process.
That's what they say.
That
Yes.
is what they say, yeah. Ah, so, what would you say is the purpose of developing doulas? Not just the little purpose, but the big purpose.
Um, well, to change the world. I mean, that sounds incredibly egotistical, doesn't it? But
No, not at all. It sounds like a good plan to me. The world needs changing.
we do. We need more doulas. I mean, I think for me, doulas are at the kind of cutting edge of feminist activism,
Mm,
at the cutting edge of social change and justice campaigning, because birth is such a vulnerable time, and women can be made or broken through birth. It has such lifelong ripple effects.
yeah,
And of course, it's the baby's first interactions with the world as well, and how they are born, and the ripple effects of that are immense too. I remember learning that around 40% of British people do not or did not have a secure attachment with a primary caregiver. And that has always stayed with me. I looked it up again recently, actually, and it's still true.
wow.
So we've got 40% of people traveling into adulthood with problems because of
Yes,
that. Emotional regulation problems, self awareness, mental health, even personality disorders. It's secure attachment is it's the foundation of who we will be
yeah,
as we grow into adults. It's the foundation of us becoming positive contributors to our communities and to the world at large. It's the foundation of us growing into happy, healthy people who can then become happy, healthy parents and pass that down. And so it really feels vital that we do something to change that. And what has really struck me, being a doula and being a doula mentor, and therefore having a peephole into lots and lots of family stories, is how little a doula has to do to change that trajectory from negative to positive. How easy it is. It's not rocket science. And on one level, that makes me really angry that society wasn't doing that anyway, or isn't doing that, because why? There aren't enough resources, because people don't seem to care, because people don't understand, because health visitors and social workers and la 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 la, they haven't got the skills, the knowledge, the time to make those interventions in those families' lives. But it is so easy, and doulas can make a really massive difference with relatively little intervention at all. It is often just making it clear that you trust those parents, and that they can do it, and that everything that their heart and their gut is telling them is true. They are the pinnacle of millions of years of evolution. Evolution that has told them, is telling them how to parent, and that if all of their cells and every little hair on their skin is saying, pick up the baby, listen to it. It's giving you good advice. Those little things that we can say, or those little bits of modeling that we do, where, we're humming on the top of a baby's head or swaying or patting, things like that that they might never have seen before because they've never been around newborns, because modern people are divorced from that stuff these days. So many of my clients have never even seen a newborn baby, let alone held one. So sometimes we're just modeling mothering behavior without even saying anything. They're just watching us and copying, and that's how human beings learn, isn't it?
I'm going to start crying in a minute. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, thank you for sharing from your heart and your knowledge and your long experience and your wisdom and your uh, breadth of understanding of human beings and the world.
Oh, you're so welcome. I always love talking to you.
Thank you. So I guess it's goodbye for now, but don't go anywhere. All I've got to do is figure out how to stop recording.
Go back where you were before.
Uh,